Welcome along to 98 Not Out, the cricket podcast. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Today, I am talking to Huw Turbervill, the editor of the fantastic Cricketer magazine, and the April edition is out now, so he's here to tell us all about it. Remember, if you like great content such as this, make sure you subscribe to us, tell your friends, spread the word, and let's get into it. Good afternoon, Huw, from a wet and windy part of Essex. That must only mean the cricket season is upon us.
Good afternoon from a bright and also windy Carshalton.
My brother was born in Carshalton. There you go, little fact. St Heliers Hospital.
Yeah, that's where my children were born.
Ah, there you go. There you go. So, yes, the cricket season is upon us. I've just received an email from Essex telling me that the public seating for the game against Middlesex is sold out. That can only be a good sign for the state of red ball cricket in this country.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And 6 have sold out day 2, albeit with free tickets for the Durham game, I think. So, yeah, good news.
So all the doom mongering. I mean, this time last year there was a lot of head shaking and people saying that county cricket was on the way out, red ball cricket was doomed. What a turnaround in 12 months. Bazball and all the rest of it. It's back in fashion.
Yeah, it looks, possibly England's resurgence. Is it, I think, 10 wins in 12 matches under McCullum and Stokes is possibly having reverberations at Chelmsford and Hove, and around the Shires.
And I think the message that seems to be coming from the cricketing public is that we want to be entertained. Now, whether it's in the form of fireworks, strange names, bizarre coloured uniforms, or whatever else, but it's an entertainment business, and more than ever, and in the face of huge competition from all fronts, cricket is entertaining people again. People are wanting to watch. It's a bit like 2005, where you couldn't take your eyes off what was going on in the Ashes. And here we are in an Ashes year again, and that whole excitement and buzz is back.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody had said we were going to win in Pakistan or England and how they were going to win to score at 5.5 and over, I mean, that would have been scorned at, wouldn't it? Scoffed at. It was an absolutely incredible achievement. And yeah, the way they're playing is remarkable.
Do you think other countries are looking on at this and thinking, is that what we should be doing, or it's a flash in the pan from England?
Do you think? I think that Australia will think, they've made jokes about this, haven't they? That McDonald ball or Muck ball or something, and because of their coach Andrew McDonald, I think they'll probably do it their own way. I think it's easy to sort of scoff at other people, but I think they'll carry on doing it their own way. But I think that the 20 years of T20 has had an effect on techniques anyway, hasn't it? I think I've been told Bazball comes out of a certain sense of logic that you're not going to really last very long trying to defend against the Duke's ball in English conditions, so you might as well just go for it. I mean, I'm not saying that's true or false, but I think teams will play to their strengths, won't they?
Yeah. You've just put a thought in my mind that if T20 had never happened, would we have seen the boycott scoop?
Well, if Boycott's still been playing in this era, he'd be scooping and reverse scooping with the best of them. He did play that dashing one-day innings once, didn't he? Was it at Lords or where the shackles came off, and he was incredible,
Oh, yeah.
Chris Tavare as well was obdurate Test batsman, but free-flowing limited overs player, wasn't he?
Oh, the heady days of Boycott and Tavare opening for England. Oh.
Otto running onto the pitch with a chair to remember him.
Yeah.
To give to Tavare.
Fantastic days. Right, let's come up to date. The April edition of the Cricketer is out. Why should readers be running and tripping over themselves to head to their newsstands and newsagents to get a copy?
Well, I did see two people just falling over themselves just now, actually. Smith. It's because it's the bumper edition, 116 pages. It's our best-selling and most popular edition of the year, and I would like to speculate that it's probably because of our world-famous wall chart, fixture wall chart with all the, you can map out your summer. I've already got round 7 of county championship matches. I'm going to be at Hove to watch the Ashes shootout between Labuschagne and Steve Smith. And I've got to decide now what I'm going to do for the first 6 rounds. But we've got the wall chart. We've got 2 pages on each county. We've got in each 2-page thing on each club, we've got a red ball section, a white ball section, and an off the field section. We've got squads and averages. So really, if you buy it now, you're set up for the summer. That's the main sort of selling piece of this issue. But I can carry on. There's lovely features. I don't know if people have been aware, but David Gower's been taking people out for lunch, and this month he took.
That's something took me and you out, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I went to quite a few of them. I went to the Joanna Lumley one. She's one of my heroes. But this, I couldn't go to this one. It was in the UAE. So Gower and Moeen really connect over their similarities of being languid left-handers who are misunderstood and sometimes appear to play casual shots that lead to their downfall, and they get a lot of stick for it. And it's a lovely story, actually. Moeen was told, "Oh, you bat like Gower," and so he investigated, watched YouTube of Gower batting, and suddenly realised, and how they chat together about this. It's fabulous, actually. He said, "You're somebody who understands what I go through," Moeen said to Gower. So really nice. And then Mike Brearley, we just had our survey of readers, and he's really popular with our readers, also with Vic Marks. And Mike Brearley is talking about how modern cricketers deal with fame. So there's lots in here, but it is the county preview special.
Oh, sounds amazing. The wall chart is particularly important, I think, this year, given that there's a bit of an unusual looking cricketing calendar, with county cricket starting ahead of club cricket, I believe, and the Ashes being, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, it being quite a concertina. It's all over by the time August turns up, but I wonder if it's quick fire, whether that makes it more exciting or not.
Well, it could do, but I don't like it. I mean, 5 tests in 6 weeks. I mean, you're not going to have fast bowlers bowling flat out and enjoying that, are you? I mean, so I probably too much to ask about going back to my childhood and having a new test match every fortnight starting on a Thursday. But I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's ridiculous that it's all over by July ahead of the school holidays, and we all know why they've done it, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, I mean, it should. No, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Ashes, to me, the Ashes is the pinnacle of what I want to watch in terms of cricket, and it should be there up there with any FA Cup final, World Cup, whatever. As you say, to
August all to 100. The 100's got August all to itself, and let's hope it never happens again.
Well, what do you think the chances are of the ECB saying, "Do you know what? We've listened"? Because everyone I talk to, I don't know anyone. There are people out there, I accept that, but the majority of people I talk to that have any kind of interest in cricket don't like the 100, and there are various reasons for it. But it seems to me that, is this a point now where the ECB, and in the face of stiff competition from all other franchises that are springing up all around the world, would it be the end of the world if the ECB said, "Okay, look, we've listened, we've learned, and particularly with the new people in charge, let's put it to one side, let's park it, let's invest our energies in the Vitality Blast, and let's just pretend it never happened"? Is there any chance of that?
I'd say there's 2 major obstacles to that. One, it's contractually obliged to carry on until 2028. Sky are very enthusiastic about it. So that's the first obstacle that Richard Thompson and Richard Gould would have to overcome. Secondly, it's seen as very successful for women's cricket. So there's a lot of people who would passionately support the continuation of it on that basis. However, I don't think it would be a major shock if Richard Thompson and Richard Gould, who did disagree with it when it first came in, when they were in Surrey, I don't think it'd be a shock if they got rid of it now. And I would personally and we're all entitled to our opinions, but I personally would like them to just concentrate on the 18 counties, possibly going to 2 divisions of 8 and 10 teams, and concentrating on a 20 over county competition and a 50 over county competition, because we are world champions in that format, and the county championship, and having 3 competitions. That's my own personal opinion, and I know there are people who disagree with me, but it's time to decide, isn't it? And it's up to Richard Thompson and Richard Gould, really.
Given its success, I mean, the one indisputable thing, the good thing to come out of it, is what it's done for women's cricket in this country, and I dare say across a wider horizon. Is there a trade-off of saying we'll keep it going, but we'll make it a women's only competition? We'll ditch the men's aspect to it, and is there? I think when you and I have talked in the past about maybe having parallel evenings where you have a T20 game, let's say Surrey against Middlesex, and alongside that a women's 100 game of women's London Spirit versus women's Oval Invincibles.
Works for me, but it might not work for some. And yeah, I mean, that's what I do. But
that
I mean,
to be a sensible way out.
Or is it so bad? Is it so bad having Surrey women v Middlesex women? I mean, the tricky thing is, I suppose you couldn't have she had a top flight of 8 men's teams. I suppose the tricky thing with being, you wouldn't have the same top 8 of women's teams, would you? But yeah, I'd probably go for Surrey v Middlesex and Invincibles v Spirit women.
Yeah. I think I think the door's open for that kind of discussion, but as you say, there are hurdles. But as we've seen in other areas, if you let the adults take over the conversation, that sensible conclusions can be reached.
Well, my colleague, I hope he doesn't want me quoting Huw Turbervill, but I think he said there are hurdles, but they're not insurmountable. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I think they've got wind in their sails, given that the popularity of cricket on a wider basis is resurgent. So I don't.
Some counties are like the 100 though. I mean, like Glamorgan. I mean, I think they get 1.8 million a year from the 100. 1.3 million from the ECB, plus 86 or 85,000 pounds per match, plus a share of refreshments and stuff that they sell at the games. So I think there's concern as to how they, for instance, would replace that 1.8 million.
But if you took the marketing budget from the 100 and injected it into the Blast, for example, would that go a long way to allaying those fears?
No, in my opinion. I mean, if you had August Blast games all the way through the school holidays, Glamorgan versus Lancashire, Glamorgan versus Surrey, or whatever, I still think they'd do well in that and bring in money. But it appears that the chief executive, Huw Morris, has a different view on that.
Interesting. And I'm sure that debate will rumble on and will be a huge point of conversations at cricket grounds and members' pavilions up and down the country as we get going. What else is there to look forward to in this in the magazine this month, the April edition?
We've got a cricket at all levels, really. We've got interesting stuff from Nick Friend talking about the women's WPL in India and how that might have a knock-on effect on the 100. Why I love cricket this month is the former Formula One Radio One DJ Andy Peebles, not Lewis Hamilton, Andy Peebles, and talking. He's got some very funny stories about getting cricketers on his Radio One shows. And so on, Darren Stevens' interview, I caught up with Matthew Fleming, the former Kent captain. Got village cricket, we've got club cricket, we've got George DeBell reporting from New Zealand, we've got India, Australia. It's jam-packed with cricket from all over the globe at all levels.
Fantastic. And against all this, there are various rumblings in the background that don't seem to go away. Don't want to be kind of like putting a down on things, but this whole racism thing rumbles on. The Yorkshire, we had that. I don't know if it's a hearing is the right word at the start of the month. Are we due any resolution on that? Are there any findings set to be published?
Yeah, we're due by the end of March. We've been told that there will be a resolution on that situation. Yeah, the ECB charges against the 6 or 7, was it, Yorkshire cricketers, including Michael Vaughan. So we're due resolution on that. We're due the report by Cindy Butts on equality and equity, diversity and inclusion, and that's imminent as well. So once we get that, then ISEC report, or ICEC, then we'll tackle that in the cricketer going forward. We're poised, but these reports have been delayed, haven't they? And the one at Essex has been delayed considerably, isn't it? I think
it's just still going. They keep saying that publication is imminent, and then it gets pushed back. So, with all of these things, and without wanting to sort of pass any judgment or view on them, but they just, for the sake of those or everyone involved, they just need to be brought to a conclusion, and then whether punishments are put in place or whatever, but we just need to kind of deal with it and move on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're all a bit cautious about saying we need just to get on with it and stuff, because we want due processes to be followed and justice to to be played out. But I think it's in cricket. It will be good to move on, won't it? Everybody in cricket will want to move on, won't they?
Yeah, and as you say, and with lessons learned, and
and no repeats ever of some of the stories that we've heard that have taken place in some of the great cricket establishments of the country. And if they're true, these stories are shocking, and we don't want to hear them again, do we?
No, we don't. No, we don't. On to other matters. Now, I understand you are gathering a list for cricketing books. You're asking people to put forward suggestions and compiling a list of your favourites.
Yeah, with loads of emails. I think they're sort of drying up now. Duncan Hamilton wrote a piece saying, I think it was the last issue, saying cricket's so lucky to have such an amazing library of books, and he worries that the future generations won't pay so much adherence to books and cricket's history. And I tagged along on that. I just said, we've talked about books before, but I said that we'd love to hear from you, our readers, as to what your favourite cricket books are. And I reckon it must have about 100 books were nominated, and it's amazing, really. Only, so maybe 20 of them have got more than a few votes. There's just an extraordinary number of books, and Botham, Nasser, Atherton, Arlott, Bradman, Kim Hughes, Steve Smith, Simon Hughes, and right down to sort of the amusing ones, Penguin Stop Play and Fatty Batter and so forth. I read Fatty Batter; it's very good, actually. Michael Simpkins.
Can I chuck one in?
Yep, please do.
Going back to my youth when I was completely and utterly, I'm still knee deep in cricket, but when I was a youngster, being mesmerised by that famous West Indian team in the early 80s, and right at the kind of nadir of all of that, in 1983, Sir Trevor McDonald wrote a fantastic book called Viv Richards, The Authorised Biography, which I think came out in 1983, and it was a brilliant read. And I remember pretty much doing it in as I think almost one go. I just, you read about or you hear about page turners, but I was so immersed in the subject and in the author that it was unputdownable, I think is a literary phrase. But there you go. Viv Richards, The Authorised Biography by Trevor McDonald.
It's been recorded.
Very good book. Very good book.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Okay, right. So the Cricket April edition is out now. It's on all good bookshelves in its glossy form, but you can also get the electronic edition as well from thecricketer.com. Is that right? You
can buy it as a one-off, or you can subscribe, or you can get it as an electronic edition issue. And you can subscribe for 13 issues a year. You go to shop.thecricketer.com/subscriptions. But it's all on our website, thecricketer.com, if all the details are there.
Quite nice to have the hard copy as well, in all its glossy beauty, which
can't beat a magazine, can you?
No, you can't. Graces any coffee table.
Yeah, lovely cover. 8 cricketers on it. 7 county cricketers actually. Keaton Jennings is in the middle of them all, as we've gone for Lancashire as the team to beat this year. And Moeen and Gower on the front as well. But yeah, lovely bright cover. You can't miss it. Nice orangey red one.
Oh dear, it doesn't have KP nuts on the front. In the 100 style branding.
seven players in their whites, so which is lovely.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but the background is nice and bright. Sun coming out. It'll be a nice sunny day at Chelmsford on April the 13th when I take my chair.
Well, I shall make every effort to come down there and sneak up on you from behind.
Cool.
All right, Huw, brilliant. Many thanks as always, and always great to catch up. And once again, make sure everyone that's listening or watching this, make sure you go out and get your copy of The Cricketer, and even better, subscribe. It's a great deal, great value for money in this day and age. And you can thank Huw and I later on. Huw Turbervill from The Cricketer, many thanks.
Thanks, Darren. All the best to your listeners.